Hello everyone and welcome to an ICB webinar all around MTD. Today I'm joined by Paul Lodder from Dext. Hello Paul.
Hello.
And one of our bookkeepers, Christy. Hello Christy.
Hi.
Great to see you. And I'm just going to let everybody come in from the waiting room. I'm conscious it's 1 o'clock, and when we do lunchtime webinars, I like to hear where you are in the world, and I like to hear what you're having for your lunch. I think I'm going to be going for scrambled eggs later, but that's a whole other thing. So, what we're going to be talking to Paul and Chrissy about today is doing the do, is not just using Dex to do MTD, but how you can set up your practice to make the most of this great opportunity that's coming our way. So we're going to be going through some of the opportunities that are available to bookkeepers. And also, we're going to be speaking to Christy about how she is setting her practice up ready for all the changes that are coming in 2026. So, Paul, I am going to ask you to start. Just a recap. I don't think we can say it enough. Give us the headlines of MTD and what it means for bookkeepers.
Okay, so the headlines for MTD is, as I'm sure we're all aware, from April 2026, new legislation is coming into play whereby if you have clients who are either self-employed or landlord clients with a combined total income of or income of more than 50,000 turnover this is, then you'll be mandated for MTD for income tax from April 2026, which means you have to do quarterly updates to HMRC of income and expenditure. It's only income and expenditure. No other income comes into it, no other sort of adjustments. You could have clients that have turnover of 30,000 from self-employed, property income of 20,000, that's 50,000, they would be mandated. Alongside the legislation, you have to keep digital records. Digital records not only means spreadsheets, but you have to have digital links in place, which often means using bridging software, like with MTD for that. Also means no copying and pasting of all of that, but you can certainly use spreadsheets. Alternatively, you can use software like Dext, all the way up to your quarterly updates. You can use multiple products. You can use one solution. It's whatever works best for you, your team, your clients. And what it means for bookkeepers, ultimately, I've said this from day one, and this is going back years. MTD isn't a compliance issue. MTD is all about the bookkeeping. If you get the bookkeeping right, everything else just follows through. So the opportunity for bookkeepers is immense, whether you're doing the whole workflow or just everything up to the quarterly updates.
Well, you're pushing it at an open door with us on that one. Amy Copeland always says that MTD is about making bookkeeping mandatory. And I think also I just wanted to bring back the ICB view that if you're doing these quarterly submissions, we don't at ICB we don't view these as they are not tax submissions. So anyone with an MICB after their name is able to do those. It's the final self-assessment submission that you're not allowed to do until you've done your self-assessment qualifications, or as Chrissy does, you'll be outsourcing that. So so let's talk a little bit about then, Paul and Christy, in terms of the opportunity. So you've got clients already, but there are also going to be an awful lot of businesses that don't currently have an agent, that don't currently have representation, and they're going to be receiving another letter in January. Is that right? MDD and HMRC are sending these letters out, aren't they?
The unrepresented
The unrepresented
don't
masses.
have an agent are receiving these letters from HMRC, and I think off the top of my head, there's around 800,000 individuals out of the 2.7 million who ultimately will be mandated who don't currently have an agent to
Mhm.
support them on this. So the opportunity is massive.
Mm. So in terms of our bookkeeper members, what we need to think about is not just what you're doing it, but making sure you're telling people you're doing it as well, making sure that you're sharing the fact that the services you offer and that you're available to give advice, not for free, but you're available to give advice around MTD. And Christy, that's really the stage you're at, isn't it, in your practice?
Yes, yes, it is. So I'm sort of preparing to be able to take on these clients, um, and giving them an offering which matches where they are in their self-employment journey. So right from when they start up to when they're mandated for MTD, it's just about finding the right solutions for them. So yeah, I'm quite excited about it really,
I,
which is
I
a
was
bit weird.
I was going to add as well, whether someone's mandated or not from 2026, I think there's a huge opportunity to start digitizing their records, doing more bookkeeping, more regular bookkeeping. I don't
Yeah,
MTD is being the catalyst for it, but I don't believe you need to wait until 27 for the next cohort and then 28 for the cohort after that. I think there's the
no,
opportunity to accelerate it all for everyone because of
yeah,
the benefits of those digital records.
yeah, and it's about educating them as to what they can use them for. So it's not just an admin task, it's about being able to see what their numbers are doing, make the decisions, which a lot of sole traders at the moment don't even look at their numbers at all. So, that's what I'm trying to do, is help with educating them so that as they do grow, they can they'll know what those numbers mean and what they need to look out for and keep a record of.
Yeah.
100%.
And you know, it's that incremental thing that's happening, isn't it? Just got the figures in front of me that the income is set for 50,000 from April 2026, it reduces down to 30,000 from April
Right.
2027, and goes down to 20,000 in 2028. So
Yeah.
that's going to happen very quickly,
Yeah.
and so many more people are going to be brought into it. So you're preparing, Christy, you're preparing your clients. What's the general attitude from your clients on this?
Well, my current clients are fine because we're already doing regular bookkeeping. So
Hmm.
they're not going to notice any difference going forward as such. Um, I've also set up a new service for clarity reviews. So for those really small sole traders that aren't coming in under MTD yet, but will do, I'm offering a quarterly sort of confidence check meeting with them so they can ask questions and I can teach them how to read their numbers and what to keep track of. So that's starting this month.
Okay. I'd like to hear from other people who are currently eating their lunch, like bagels from Brick Lane. I'd like to hear what you're currently doing, the conversations you're currently having, in terms of preparing your clients, and what your clients are thinking about as well. Um, and Paul, I know you're from Dex, but your background is from accountant. How does an accountant, a bookkeeper view differ on this? Would you
I, I,
suggest?
I I think if I take a step back, I think many accountants are looking at this and realizing they're probably not structured very well for undertaking this sort of bookkeeping work. And this is where in my old firm, we work very closely with bookkeepers as well. I think that relationship between those accounting firms and bookkeepers becomes even stronger than ever before. And HMRC have also recognized that with the dual agent authority as well. So there is massive capacity challenges within sort of accounting firms at the moment in terms of a lot of the other work they're doing. So many are probably looking at this. Some will certainly take it on board and deal with the bookkeeping, depending on how they're structured and whether they've got those dedicated tax teams who are also dealing with some of the bookkeeping. But even then, many of those tax individuals are very much going, we don't do bookkeeping, we do tax. So then the question is, do you pass on that bookkeeping work to your accounts team, your sort of trainee accountants, your those who are qualified? Often the model doesn't work in terms of the other work they've got to do and the sort of the cost considerations as well. So I think many are looking at this opportunity to work closer with bookkeepers,
Mhm.
to get the bookkeepers to do everything up to the quarterly updates. That information goes to HMRC via whatever method you're using. It's stored by HMRC with the client's Nino. The accountant can pull those quarterly updates back into their tax compliance software and then they can do the finalization of the return. I think for me, we're going to see that model just grow over time,
Yeah.
if anything, and that relationship that's always been in place between accountants and bookkeepers, I think will just get stronger because
Yeah.
I at the end of the day, I'm an accountant, and I know the quality of my bookkeeping was never the same level of quality as someone who's dedicated to doing bookkeeping, because you're doing it all day, every day, and you're really understanding the numbers. Whereas often the accountant, the focus is just getting to that compliance part, those stat accounts, the corp tax,
Yeah.
and maybe some of those other higher level sort of strategic work that they're involved in.
Yeah.
Um,
Completely agree.
and so Christy, I was thinking that when we said at the start that you need to be letting businesses and potential clients know, and existing clients know what your services you offer, you also need to be letting accountants, local accountants know as well. What
Yes.
relationships do you have? What are you doing about that?
Yeah, and I've got a new website launching tomorrow, and I've actually dedicated a page for other bookkeepers and accountants to show that I am there to outsource work to and collaborate with them in that way. So because I figured, it's not just about the clients, it's about collaboration with other accountants and firms so that we can help each other and get all these sole traders and any other clients really to the end goal. So yeah.
And I know we talk a lot about the beta test, about getting clients on the beta test, and how that's the best way to kick off MTD because you're going to be getting a lot of support from HMRC while you're doing, aren't you? But what else is there, Christy, that you've done that how have you what things have you put in place in your practice that are going to be different for MTD?
So I've started putting into place sort of workflows in my practice management system so that when we get started, the jobs can just be set straight up and then they'll just start coming up in the job lists. Um, and just talking to people about what's happening really. Um, until we get to April, I haven't got any clients that I can put onto the beta. So I haven't got that side of things, but just keeping up to date and making sure that you're ready is the only things, and deciding on the software you want to use obviously is a big one.
Well,
So
okay, so that is a massive one. And before we went live, we were talking about the fact that maybe there's no one solution that's going to fit all.
I, I,
Um,
I don't think there is.
Come on, Paul, give me a rant on this.
So my views on this is, if your client is VAT registered, there's a strong chance you're already using one of the general ledger systems, a Xero, a QuickBooks, a Sage, a Free Agent. It doesn't matter which one. If I was still in practice, I would be doing the quarterly updates in that solution as well. Then you've got your tranche of clients who aren't VAT registered but want quite advanced reporting. So they're operating a purchase ledger, a sales ledger. They want the P&L, they want the balance sheet. Again, on those clients, I'd be going down the general ledger route. The MTD solutions that they have won't be suitable for that advanced reporting necessarily. Often the reporting in the MTD solutions is quite basic, so you need to consider one of the higher plans. Then you've got these clients who have their bank statements, have their invoices, they're not VAT registered. And that puts you then down two paths. If I was looking at Dext Solo, we can deal with all of that sort of cash coding, extracting from information. But if these clients, let's say it's a rental client, only has 4 receipts a year, I would be going down a spreadsheet route and then using bridging software. So I think it's really important to understand, to segment your clients into VAT registered, not VAT registered, advanced reporting, no reporting particularly needed, and then consideration as to the number of transactions as well, and then decide from there, because everything up to the quarterly updates, I think, is where there's flexibility. When you do the finalization of the tax return, for those of who are able to do that, that's the part I wouldn't change. I would keep my tax software as is, and I would be changing everything up to the quarterly updates, because ultimately all of that information will go to HMRC and back into your tax software. So that segmentation exercise is so critically important. Ultimately, anywhere where there's automation, pre-population of numbers, extracting, which is where Dex's strength is. We're not tax compliant software. We don't go past the quarterly updates. If you want one solution, then you need to consider what's out there. If you're happy to split the workflow and effectively have market leading solutions for both parts, that to me leads to the greatest efficiency and greatest capacity creation and makes it frictionless for both yourselves and your clients. So there is that exercise to go through in terms of it's not just what you're thinking about, it's your clients' needs as well.
Yeah. Christy, you're nodding to that. You're agreeing.
I was just thinking about the other thing that I'd heard about was that not all software that can file the quarterly submissions can do the year-end submissions.
Correct.
So that's something else that I want to make the clients aware of, because it points in the direction of getting an agent or whatever. But for those that are thinking that they can just do it themselves, they don't want to set up doing it one way and then find they can only get so far and not finish the job. So yeah, that's one of the other things that's sort of rumbling around in the back of my head as well, for getting the information out there.
It's a really important point, because I've spoken a lot with HMRC and Paul Applin and others about this. It's my biggest worry that if you don't already have an agent helping you, picking software when you don't have all of the core knowledge, I think can become a real challenge. And
Yeah.
I think this is where there's that opportunity for bookkeepers as well to be that cloud software consultant. So you can provide a service to help them find the software, get them set up. They may decide they then want to just go it alone, but you've created that relationship on a different part of the process in terms of digital strategy and optimization.
I like that.
Yes, and I
I'm
think
writing that down.
write it down, Christy. We keep promoting at ICB. We keep talking about bookkeepers as an API. So bookkeepers are connecting clients, small businesses, with accountants, with HMRC, with software, and I think that's a really important role. And yeah, your bookkeeper's always best placed to do that because they know your business so well. And I'm just going to put a small plug in here for the Bookkeepers Summit and say, come to the Bookkeepers Summit and talk to all the software providers, all be in the room, and work out what's best for you. And I've been knocking about in accounting and bookkeeping software for a long, long time. And the conversation has always been around whether it's best in breed, whether you go for best in breed and create your own tech stack, or you go for an all-in-one solution. And I think the answer is always what works for you.
Agreed.
What makes you happy, and what do you find it easier to work with? I mean, that's a whole other webinar that I'd be quite happy to listen to and talk to. So yeah, the software choices are so base. You have to base them in what is right for you, what is right for your clients, and also what you like using and what you find easy. So I am going to bring this back to Dext now, because Christy, you are a Dext customer of old, is that correct?
That is correct.
I'm
Yeah.
not calling you old, I'm just saying you've been doing it for a while. But you're not using Dext Solo, which is the specific solution pool that you would recommend, is that correct?
That's correct. I'm not using it at the moment because I
So
haven't
the
got
non-VAT
anybody.
registered, yes.
Yeah. So, but it's on my list of software solutions.
And you did the thing that we encourage everybody to do, which is make suggestions to software providers about what suits you. Is that right? Tell us that story.
As in what I would like on my wish list for
Yes,
things.
but yes, just more about the story that you spoke. You met somebody at something.
Yes. So at the digital accountancy show this year, I met Stephen Edgington and just happened to catch him at the right time and gave him my list of things that I was hoping that I could do within Dext, and after quite a long conversation, I walked away thinking, I wonder if it will happen or not, because you just don't know. And now everything has been rolled out, and I'm quite happy you're doing my prepayments and all the other little things that were not available. And yeah, everything's been implemented. So yeah, definitely speak to your software providers if there's little things niggling at you every time you go to do something. You think, oh, I wish it did such and such. Tell them, because you never know, it might actually get sorted out for you, and stop those little annoyances and make it just work so much better. So it's really exciting, because every time I log into Dext at the moment, there's a new function available. So it's like, oh, what are we going to have today?
There is a lot of stuff we're working on.
So bravo to Christy for speaking up. Bravo to Dex for listening.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about some of that, Paul. Talk to us about Dext Solo and why that's suitable for MTD.
Dext Solo, and this is coming back to, in terms of segmenting your clients. Dext Solo is for your non-VAT registered clients. We're focused on income and expenditure. That doesn't mean you can't categorize other transactions, but we're everything up to the quarterly updates. And we've already got users having done some quarterly updates through the beta with us. But our biggest strength, and it always has been with Dext, is completeness of records, getting the information in, the mobile app, the email in submissions, the drag and drop. That is our strength in terms of getting the information in. But we also now process over 1 million documents every day, and the accuracy is incredibly high, and and our AI models are getting better and better in that we can now do rental statements and extract from those as well and deal with the grossing up. We connect with e-commerce platforms. So we are very much now a sort of a bookkeeping platform, giving you the insights you need to be in control all of the time, but really saving you time as well to allow you to expand into potential other business areas that you're excited about as well. So for me, yeah, everything up to the quarterly updates and then tax software for the finalization. We're not going to be full tax software solution because that's not our strength. There's other players out there who are far, far better. And Dext Solo, we can support multiple income streams as well. So one of our big things is you can have up to 5 different income streams, all under one license, and Dext Solo is £2.50 per month per client. I will say plus VAT as well, because it's for your non-VAT registered clients. So the actual true cost to your clients is £3 per month, but multiple income streams.
Okay, I just been trying to multitask and put Christie's review of Dext in the chat there for people to see, because for you, Christy, Dext Solo, you can definitely see the benefit of it in terms of how you work with your clients.
Absolutely, yeah, because the fact is you get the benefit of Dext and being able to get, as Paul said, get all the information in and process it quickly and efficiently. Whereas if you use some of the other softwares, you've got a lesser receipt capture tool. It just makes the job so much harder and more frustrating for the clients. So if you haven't got a decent receipt capture app that works really easily, or an easy way of getting the documents in, it's going to be harder and harder to get those clients on board and sending stuff in on a regular basis. Whereas Dext has, their app is brilliant for receipt capture, and now you can send in directly via WhatsApp and all other methods. So yeah, you know, we're just getting more and more ways of making it easier for the clients to send stuff. They really are running out of excuses now as to why they can't send it in quickly.
And the thing is with Solo as well, because you have all of the functionalities you say as full Dext. So if you start using the supplier rules, you can actually remove any issues around the categorization. And only this week, we've also released a new feature where you can decide which categories your clients will even see.
I
And
know, I just saw that.
it literally, so you can set up groups and say, for this client, these are the only categories that really I want them to touch because they don't need to worry about the rest. And for those who are able to do the sort of finalization stage, you can also automate disallowable expenditure within Dext Solo as well via rules and things like that. So anything like
Yeah,
client entertaining automatically put to 100% disallowable. So there's more to come with Dex Solo, but it is all of that automation and removing any sort of concerns or worries that you or your clients have. But the real benefits come when you invest that time at the start in terms of the setup, which comes back to that sort of point. The opportunity for bookkeepers is charging a fee for that
yeah,
setup, getting everything in place, making sure that it's fully automated so that if clients wanted to do everything themselves up to the quarterly updates and then hand over for the finalization, you know that the information coming through for the finalization part is going to be really good because they've
yeah,
engaged with you to deal with all of the setup at the start.
yeah.
Okay.
And that sort of comes into the clarity review that I'm doing as well. And
Yeah.
that's exactly that. One, they can have, we have a setup call. So that's my fee for setting everything up for them and then talking them through that setup and what they need to do. And then for a small fee, they pay monthly and have a quarterly meeting if they want to, where they can ask questions and get me to check that they are doing things right, categorizing things in the right way, so that they have that confidence going forward that when they get to year end, they've done everything right and they're not going to get a bill because everything needs to be undone and put back to how it should be. So yeah, and that's it. It's all a learning thing for them, isn't it, as to what goes with what and everything. So it's good.
I'll just add this story with a client I once had. They actually paid their children their pocket money to take the pictures on the mobile of all of the receipts.
Right.
So they got their kids to take all of the pictures, and that's how they earned their pocket money.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
And maybe one we can suggest to clients
yeah,
because you're right. And what we always say about bookkeeping in is that bookkeeping, the main thing is getting the information in, isn't it?
Cheers.
Can we just return, Christy, a little bit and Paul really about the pricing? Because it's finding the right pricing model for you. It's, we're going to be talking about pricing forever and ever and the different methods and things like that. I'm conscious that you're going to have existing clients, bookkeepers are going to have existing clients that are going to be falling into the first cohort. But also if you get new people coming in, what's the best way of establishing yourself? Perhaps Paul, have you got any views on that?
I actually wrote a whole pricing guide and consideration around all of this because what I was hearing early on, which was worrying me, is some firms, individuals, bookkeepers were just doing a blanket fee. This is how much it is, and I think there's risks associated with that. Others were just doing it purely based on the number of transactions, and I haven't got an issue with that approach at all. But what you've also got to consider is the number of different income streams. So I actually came up with a model which was more of a hybrid model, which brought in a multiplier. So you could, and also different levels of packages. So I'll call it bronze, silver, gold, but I'd never use a bronze, silver, gold in practice necessarily. Bronze is basically the client is doing nearly all of the work. You're just there to sort of do that bit of review and everything else. Silver is clients may upload everything, but you'll deal with all of the categorizations. And gold, it's just like, I just want you to do everything. For those, you can have a fixed monthly fee for, let's say, for the bronze, this is what it is per month. For the silver, this per month. For the gold, this per month. But then I brought in a multiplier, which basically said bronze, but you've got 1 to 10 transactions, we just times it by one. If you've got 20 to 30 transactions, we times it by 1.25, the bronze. So you can end up with two clients both on bronze, but paying a slightly different price. Then I brought in an extra multiplier, which for some may be a bit more complicated, number of income streams. So in essence, there were three different criteria, whether you were bronze, silver, gold, then the number of transactions, which was just bandings, and then whether you had multiple income sources, which again was just one income source, two income source, three income source. And it was just a multiplier. And it protects you not only to consider the number of transactions, the number of income sources, but you want to prevent someone being on bronze but getting the gold package
Mhm.
service and giving clients the flexibility to move between different packages, but also giving you the control to say, look, you're on bronze, but I think you should be on silver. So that's the approach that I effectively came up with and wrote about.
I've just put a link to that
Yeah,
in
I've just seen that.
in the
Thank you.
chat. So I was going to say, what
So
are you doing, Christy?
I had I've got a similar setup actually. So I'm using Socket to run my proposals, and you can
Are
put three
you?
different options onto
Yeah.
each one. And so I'd done a similar sort of thing. So I'd done the first one if they're doing their bookkeeping, but I'd charge them to check it and stuff like that. And then I'd got the middle one, which is where I do it, and I can't remember what they all were, but basically different levels, like Paul said, with different multipliers on, so that each time it could change depending on their transactions and, you know, if they get more properties or things like that. But the other great thing with Socket now is that you can also add in extras. So you can actually upsell services to them and they can just click on them if they want them.
Yeah.
So from that point of view as well, you can start to really sort of like say, well, you don't necessarily need this now, but in the future you might. And then when you send your next proposal out, they can just add that on. And it's about talking to them and telling them exactly what those extras are. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna start doing as well. So
For,
um
for anyone interested, I'm quite happy to share this across to you. I actually built this out just as an Excel spreadsheet with all of the formulas. If people don't want to incur an additional cost
yeah,
potentially, this model that I've just gone through, I actually have as an Excel version which does all of the
Do
calculation.
you,
I
Paul?
did it.
I'd like to see that. Send it over. That sounds
I'll
great.
send it over to you straight after, and then I'm more than happy for you to share it
Great.
with any of the members.
Which,
Th there's tables at the end where you put in your own numbers. So I just put an example on the spreadsheet, which is quite self-explanatory. But if you need any other guidance on it, let me know.
brilliant.
I think that would be so generous of you, and everyone would really appreciate it. I think starting is so hard, isn't it? Starting off something like this is really hard. And one of the things we talk to our members about a lot is around scope creep. And we know of members who go above and beyond in terms of servicing their clients all the time. And I think something like Socket or Go Proposal or Engage a Proposal, that they're all great at just it's not just about the practical thing of demonstrating your worth. It's around your mindset as well, isn't it? Like
Yes.
these are the sort of breaking down your services, and that's really important. And whether you
You need to
need
take out the emotion
well, yes, you're right.
because
Yes.
and this is why tools like Socket, whatever it may be, or just a spreadsheet removes the emotion because it's all formularized.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because
Yeah,
I know that you want to help people, don't you, Christy? That's why you're doing this job.
yeah, absolutely. But you also don't want to do it for free.
No, because
So
because of
and
mortgage.
yeah, exactly. Um but so last weekend actually I spent a couple of hours actually setting up my fee review jobs in my practice management so that it then takes that part out of it as well, because it just says in my work list this fee review is due, and then I can do it. Whereas actually I think, oh God, I really need to do their fee review, and then you feel bad because you're gonna have to put their fee up. And so actually no, now it's a job and I have to do it so I can tick it off. So I did that, and I've got quarterly reviews and I've got annual reviews going in there for each client. So hopefully scope creep will be a thing of the past.
That's great. Oh, Christy, you're on it now, aren't you? Good. Okay. Was there anything else we wanted to cover, Paul? Looking back at our are
Um, I,
lots.
I was just there was a couple of bits I was just going to mention on the legislation that popped into my head, just
Yes.
as reminders and the beta and the sign up and things like that. For 2026, it is based on the 24-25 tax return. It's 2 years minus the tax years. 26-27 relates to 24-25. The other big part in terms of the beta, if you know you have clients who are going to be mandated from April 26, but not ready to sign them up to the beta, there's nothing to stop you signing them up now to MTD. When you sign up to MTD for income tax, you have an option to sign up for the 25-26 tax year, which is the beta, or signing up in advance now for 26-27. That can just be getting an admin sort of task out of the
Yeah.
way. You don't need to wait until we're in 26, 27 to start this process. And there are a few things you need to do in terms of signing up clients, in terms of getting your agent services account and going through a process. And it can take around 5 minutes approximately, I think is what HMRC say, depending on the complexity of clients' affairs. And you've got to do this for each client manually. So any sort of admin task you can get done and dusted now, I would strongly recommend it. Obviously, I'd strongly recommend signing up to the beta as well, because it's the way to learn. If you were to sign up now, there's no penalties in the beta, number one, and any quarterly obligations that have passed. So we've had the August one already and the October one as well. You still have to do them, but
Mhm.
if you're using software, particularly if you're using something like Solo, you just put all of the information in and it will do each of the quarters for you automatically anyway. Um, so you can actually sign up in essence until the last day of the tax year, um, to be part of the beta and then go back and do all of the four quarterly updates.
Okay. And I was just going to talk about a little bit about the multi-agent account as well. Is that the same? And I'm sorry for my ignorance. Is that the same thing by signing up as for an agent account? You're signing up for the multi-agent access.
For the multi-agent, there's a different process. I can't remember off the top of my head, but for multi-agent, there is I don't. I've seen it, and it's very straightforward. I always get the terminology wrong on this, and this is where Paul Applin always corrects me. But in essence, you have a primary agent and a secondary
Yeah.
agent.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if they're called that off the
No,
top.
I think you're right. It's not like we're not saying platinum and gold, are we? Yes, because everyone's equal. Bookkeepers
Yeah,
very
exactly.
equal.
Which is
But
why
just
I can never remember. But the sort of the first eight, whatever it is, has access to sort of more information compared to the other agent, and I think that's an online process. Um, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not a big task to do that.
And
have you done any of
it's
that?
the primary agent can do the year-end submission, isn't it, I think? And the
Yes.
secondary agent can just do the quarterlies.
Yeah. So yeah, bookkeepers are going to be the secondary one, really,
Yeah.
aren't they? Okay.
Correct. Yes. But again, all of these things can be put in place sooner rather than later, um, rather than leaving everything to the last minute, including any engagement letters you may need to update as well, and consideration around all of those.
Great.
Mhm.
That's a really good point, actually. Engagement letters. We've got lots to do.
And when we think, we're mid-October already, what you don't want is this sort of last minute panic or rush. At the end of the day, even if you haven't got your clients all set up by April the 6th, strictly speaking, you've got until the first deadline, the first quarterly update, which is the 7th of August 2026. And then the penalty point system isn't a case that you just suddenly get a penalty straight away. You accumulate points for missed quarterly obligations. I have a sneaky suspicion there could be a soft landing on penalty points and things like that anyway, but that's my own view.
Yes.
Don't take that as read.
Yes, not speculate. Christy, just bring the dog. That's all anybody wants to see. Get the dog,
Sorry,
please.
he's got a bed on my desk and he wanted to get down, so I have to move him.
Oh, that's disappointing because the last 10 seconds of what Paul said I didn't listen to because
It wasn't very
Sorry, Paul.
interesting, so don't worry.
just interested in the dog. That was very exciting. Okay. Last Bookkeeper Summit, Claire Cridland brought her hearing dog with us, and it was just amazing. Yeah, always bring the dogs in. Okay, that's great. There's a lot to think about there, but I think the general view is get prepared, do it as early as you can. It's not scary and overwhelming, and bookkeepers and obviously ICB bookkeepers are in a great position to make this a real bonus for their business. All right,
Yeah,
that. Um, Paul and Christy will both be at the ICB Bookkeeper Summit. Is that correct?
correct.
Lovely. I'm just checking you, Paul. On Monday the
I'm
17th.
sure I am. I think I've seen it in my diary.
I think you're talking.
I
I
think
think
I'm
you're
doing
talking
a
on that. I think
presentation
you're doing a presentation,
or
yeah.
something.
I know what's happening. I'm organising.
Yeah, I'm glad you do.
So you can join us, ICB members, at 149 quid plus VAT. If you cannot make it to London, and we understand not everyone can, we run a virtual, 2-day virtual the same week, Wednesday and Thursday, and that's £99 if that suits you better. It's great to come along and talk to your fellow bookkeeper members and meet people like Christy and learn from them. But also, it is really good. We've got an exhibition there, and you can go around and take these lovely software vendors to task and say, "This is what I want to do differently about this. How are you going to help me support me to do that?" So it's a really good use of your time to be
It,
there.
it is. I think for me, and this goes back to when I was still in practice, the relationships with vendors and your sort of fellow colleagues and everything else are so important because there's often the perception that everyone's further ahead, everyone's done more, everyone's nailing it, everyone's perfected the workflows. The reality is often not that at all. Generally everyone is still in the same boat. Everyone is still sort of struggling to work out what the best software to use is, what the best processes to use, what to charge, and in the guide for the pricing thing, um, you've got to test the waters with your pricing. Don't just go all out in one go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Get some feedback and speak to some of your clients who are really friendly clients you've got a really strong relationship with and just see if it works because what you don't want to happen is all of your clients to pick your gold package because if that's the case you're too cheap and you're going to be overwhelmed. If everyone takes your bronze package, you're too expensive, and the risk is you end up providing the silver or gold package to everyone on the bronze when they shouldn't really be on it. You really want this bell-shaped curve in terms of a spread of clients across the board,
Mm.
each with different packages. And that is what you need time to test and
Yeah,
talk to people about, find out what's working. Relationships are everything in terms of achieving the right outcomes.
Yeah, I really agree. There's a small group of bookkeepers and accountants that I'm part of, and we've just been away for a week to work on our businesses together, where we went through all our line items for our pricing to make sure that we were all around the same point as each other, that we weren't missing a trick on what we were providing and stuff like that. And that is so important to know that you're in the right ballpark to start with and that you're not missing out on things that should be charged for. So yeah, it's really good to talk to other people in the same position and also, like you say, the vendors. So
Mhm.
I've got my individual lists that I'll be bringing with me so I can
Right.
remember what I need to speak to them about.
I think they'd be hiding when they see you coming.
Yeah. I'll give Stephen the heads up.
Yeah, quick, she's going.
It's all right, I'll email the list, it's fine. They can't hide.
And also it's a really good idea to take time and work on your business as well as in your business. We're all guilty of this, aren't we? Just getting our heads down. I'm so busy, I'm so busy. And so allowing yourself to take some time and think about how your business is working and whether it's working the best way is always a great idea. Thank you, everyone. That's been really valuable. I'm going to make sure that we send out the link to Christie's review of Dext, to Paul's pricing guide, which I did put a link in there too, and also Paul's going to share with us
I
his.
will email it across to you and I'll let you do what you need to do with it.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting.
Perfect.
Thank you for joining us on this lunchtime. Um, we'll see you at the Bookkeeper Summit. I'm trying to think about we've got tomorrow. We've got a live. We're just doing some lives in the run up to the summit, and we're talking to our friends at Apron tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So if you can join us then, that would be great to see your beautiful faces. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Paul,
Thank
and
you.
goodbye, everybody else. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone.